I think the secret to life is bubble tea.
What?
Yeah.
Don't steal that from me.
It is though. Just straight up vibes. Do you want me to say something else so you can say bubble tea?
You stole my personality.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Hannah from Enemy, and today I'm joined by Fizz for the latest in our In Conversation series. Hello, how are you doing?
Hello. Good.
How is everything in Fizzville?
Pretty good. Peachy. The cogs are turning.
Sun is shining.
It's all happening. So I think the only right way to treat this interview is go right back to the beginning. And how did Fizz come together? You've all known each other for a very long time.
Yeah, we've all been friends for best part of 10 years now. We've all worked on each other's projects in various forms. Like Orla plays in Dodie's band. Me and Martin supported Dodie on her tour like 8 years ago or something. So yeah, we know each other in all these different ways. And we are friends with this guy called Pete Miles, who is an incredible producer and an engineer down in a studio called Middle Farm Studios. And he invited us down and Fizz was born, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say he was had a heavy hand in the sort
Puppeteering,
of of it. He knew us all individually, and he loves encouraging play and chaos and just like bursting out from whatever sort of cages you've managed to put yourself in creatively. So I think he was sort of sowing the seeds among us individually for a while and really kind of babysat the whole thing in a really crucial way.
I think in the best way we were all like growing a little stuck in our artist projects. I know that I was desperate for an escape of some kind, and yeah, I feel like we had a lot of nights where we just like hang out and write stupid songs, and then yeah, this is kind of like a joke that's been taken too far, as seen right now. Yeah.
And at what point were you kind of like, oh, we can make an album? Like, was there a specific song you wrote first? Was there just the songs kept coming and you're like, oh, surprise, we've written an album here?
Pretty much that one. Yeah.
Yeah, our first song, High in Brighton, we were actually in Brighton. We were driving back, and I think there's like a voice recording of me, Martin, and Dodie just like singing in the car, and we came up with that as a silly song idea.
But then Orla wrote the rest of it.
Yeah, and then Orla helped us write the rest of it. Yeah. So yeah, just like super joyful and fun, and honestly, unlike any other experience I've ever had making music, it was a trip.
Yeah, I feel like blinked and it was over, and so much of it was unspoken, telepathic, like so little conversations were had about the music that we were making and what it would be. Would it be an album? And I think we were all pushing that very intentionally to the back of our minds when we were in the studio, so that it could just be all about that moment.
And Dodie, you just touched on this, but in the intro, there's that line, and it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but you say you're embracing the secret to life, kind of getting out of a funk. Did you find this album did get you all out of maybe a creative funk?
Oh my god, totally. I was utterly stuck. And this was just like, we just said yes to like everything when we were writing. There were no bad ideas. In fact, there were too many ideas. And yeah, I've never written songs so fast and so fun.
Yeah, it felt like we were just running the collective tap in a way that I had definitely not experienced for a really long time, if ever. And it was like the energy of us all being there made the writing really different. I felt like when someone's energy dipped, someone else could pick it up. And that's not something I had ever experienced before. I'm used to like writing and my project in general going at the pace that I can move it. But this felt like a passing around of the baton the whole time, and someone's dipping and needs to go and make the dinner, so you do this first. And it just felt like passing it back and forth like a little hot potato, like, Martin, quick, like you do this, and then, I'm kind of flagging now, so maybe you can track the guitars for this, like really reactive and really like impulsive in a really fun way.
I guess in that way, you've mentioned it was kind of like super fun and you were coming out of your comfort zone. Did any of you have something you've like never been able to do in your own music? You're like, I really want to try this. Can we please do this?
I think all of it is that, isn't it? Like, Yeah, we sort of joke about the sort of essence of Fizz being an exercise in letting go and just saying yes to everything within reason. But that reason is like, it's not like a sensible reason, is it? Like, we still have some like ridiculous songs, some ridiculous lyrics and ideas that we like.
Should have said no to.
Yeah.
I think the grand finale is a good example of something that I've always wanted to do, which is like a theatrical sort of takes you on a bit of a journey, a bit like an opera, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm really picking this album up.
It's
This album's an opera.
phenomenal. But it is kind of, it's got acts,
Yeah.
isn't it? And I think that has, also, I've always really wanted to write a really like long, indulgent, winding song like that just throws the shackles of verse, chorus, middle, A, chorus.
Yeah, I like having drums of any kind in my songs now, our songs, cool. And I was gonna say, like, the reason why we're so, like, it's easy to, like, compliment our own music is because it doesn't feel like it's just ours. Like, I would never be, like, this celebratory about my own projects. I'm sure, like, I don't know, you should be. But I feel like because we're all so involved, like, it's so easy to...
I'm really proud of it as well.
Yeah, so that's something I've always wanted to do, be utterly proud of something.
Yeah, the essence of it is so, it feels so pure. Like, it really genuinely is just like four mates like having a laugh. Like, that is it, isn't it? And everything since then has just been like, like elaborating on that and like building a world and like continuing to just like try and have fun. And that is like the whole point of the whole thing. Yeah. Whereas I think in our own projects, there's like, it's maybe a little bit more neurotic and less pure than that a lot of the time.
Do you think that this experience will change how you write for your solo projects?
Yeah, definitely. I think like letting go a little bit more will hopefully allow some doors. I think before Fizz, was like BF. I felt like there was like a structure I had to stick to and like a lane that was mine, but AF. God, so lame. I don't know. I don't feel so afraid to like do something a little bit different now. Why not?
Yeah, I feel like I'm more ambitious now. Like everything feels achievable after you've written a song with 8 key changes. I feel like before, like the sort of task of like aiming for something like big and grand was, I don't know, I'd talk myself out of it a lot of the time, whereas I don't think I would now.
Yeah, I definitely feel much braver and like I trust my instinct a little bit more creatively. I think just being around these guys and feeling like validated in your experience really helps like your creative process, I think. And I'll definitely carry that into my own music for sure.
Same with me, just learning to trust your gut a bit more and listen to it and stand behind it a bit more. I think I'm quick to talk myself out of the ideas that I have, but I think this experience has taught me to, when you have that little fire in your belly and you really feel strongly about something, to give it the airtime it deserves and like really see it through.
I'd love to dig into some of the songs, starting with As Good As It Gets. That chorus is incredible. Who kind of brought that idea to the table?
I think we were playing, I was like doing like these like down strummy like plucky things on the rubber bridge, and we wanted it to feel like quite punky and like had a lot of drive to it. And originally it really did sound like American Idiot. Yeah. Like very post-punky and like loud and a lot of energy behind it. And I think slowly it turned, we kind of built a little bit of a story around it, didn't we? We wanted it to sound like soft and like feminine and beautiful to begin with, and then it sort of erupt into something much more angry later on in the song. But yeah, Martin, you stepped away from it, you helped arrange it, and then when it came to lyrics and recording the vocals and stuff, Martin stepped away. Yeah, very respectfully stepped away and worked on another song. But yeah, that whole process was incredible. We had an assistant engineer called Soren Bryce with us at the studio, who has also got a project called Tummy Ache, which is like very sort of dark, and like post-punk and beautiful music. And so I think she kind of felt like quite a subtle reference point for us creatively for that song, and she actually sang on the song with us. And I was having a shit day that day, and it felt like a really sort of cathartic moment. It felt like that anger that I was like holding in my body was fuel to be able to sing this song, because it's really hard to sing, but really, really cathartic and good.
Is there maybe a specific moment that inspired her, or is it kind of a lifetime of moments?
Oh man, there's definitely a few nuggets of real stories in there that we all just inherently know because we've shared that experience.
I think a lot of experiences of just not feeling enough. I think particularly like as a female, like for sure in the industry and out of it, just moments where you're, I don't know, you just get that little fire in you, and you're told or shown in some way that you and your feelings aren't enough, and just kind of squashes it down. For me, it just, when it does erupt into that really high note that Greta sings, it just feels like that's been building up for years. And I think that maybe is why it felt so cathartic for you to sing and then us to track the vocals around you, because it just felt like, I don't know, loads of like pipe down, and then just having like this huge eruption and this huge like tantrum. Sounds too kind of bratty, but like it's much more like guttural than that. At least.
Yeah.
It feels like the whole thing is like a pressure cooker. And I think definitely in my experience, I've like equated a lot of my worth to like my appearance or how like palatable I am to dudes. And I think like deconstructing that in my 20s has been really powerful, and I think this song is a direct like mirror to that.
And another song I wanted to ask about is Hell of a Ride, which resonated with me, who's terrified of turning 30. But are there any specific situations that inspired that one?
Just like feeling old, isn't it? Yeah.
I think lockdown for sure. I remember that was like something we kept going back to.
We wrote it right after lockdown, didn't we?
Yeah.
It kind of was. Like we were in LA for that one. It was the start of 2022, but it was still weird. Like people were wearing masks everywhere, and like it was odd. It was an odd time, wasn't it? And I don't know. All the verses in that song are very sort of like pseudo lockdown, some sort of like catastrophe.
Yeah, there's
thing.
like end of the world imagery in there as well, like turn on the news.
Yeah, I felt really resentful that we had lost the time that we did. I think everyone felt that in different ways, and I don't think there was any good age to be, but I did really feel like robbed, and I think that comes out in there for all of us. And also for me, like, yeah, fear of getting old, but like particularly fear of getting old in music. Like we were talking the other day about the hellscape of the over 25s and the X Factor. Maybe that's the source of it all, but I do feel like the messaging, even when you're not in music, is like there's a point where you literally expire. And so I think I was definitely feeling that as well.
What was really nice about writing that song though was at the end, where Orla has like a really beautiful moment at the end of the song. I think it kind of all comes back round to like being, I don't know, just like being with you guys, you know, and like in the midst of feeling quite really like self-conscious about those things and feeling like your time is running out, and especially for me, like I feel like needing to like accomplish a lot in my life and not having enough time to do that. I think it all comes down to just community and you know, making friends and trusting your friends, and I don't know, and family, and I think I can get like caught up in the neuroticy, is that a word?
Ooh.
Sure. In all of that, but then forgetting like what is already around you is valuable.
You mentioned the over 25s there, and I did want to ask about the music industry has changed hugely, the landscape has changed hugely since maybe you began your career. Were there things you felt like you had to consider, maybe TikTok or things like that, when working on this project?
I think not when doing the music. I actually think for me, I think for all of us, the releasing of it was just so not referenced or thought about during the making of it. And maybe for me, out of a sense of dread for that being not the funnest part, honestly. And so I think essential to the like bubble that we created making it was ignoring completely how it might come out and how you might present it or even whether we would put it out at all. I think there was points where I was thinking like, I would be so happy if this music never came out. It was so about the process and about the time. But I also felt really proud of it and felt like I wanted to put it out. But yeah, it has changed a lot, definitely since I've started, since we've all started. And God knows where it ends up. It's crazy out there.
Yeah, I really feel like the like culture of it is so like, it's so apparent what we're about, you know, without us having to like shove it down people's throats. Like, I think if people come across it, they will like get it, even if they absolutely hate it, which I'm totally fine with. And I think people will hate it as well.
It's very
but
loud.
it's like, it is what it is, and it's so boldly what it is. And like, I think that in and of itself is like so amazing, because I know people can just discover it, and that's amazing. I don't feel like we're fighting for a way to cut through the noise. Like, well, I think we're so unapologetically like this that's not really an issue, you know.
We mentioned the finale earlier, and that's almost an antithesis to creating something which is 30 seconds long, and there's so many different ideas, and I mean, I don't suspect you made it for that reason, but it does show that it kind of wasn't maybe number one consideration.
Yeah, definitely, like Orla said, definitely not while writing. In fact, I feel like we made a point to put those restrictions at the door, before writing. We were just like, let's just like, who knows what this is going to be, let's just not think about it.
Yeah, also, I feel like the whole, like the conception of this project is like, it's like an act of rebellion against the industry. Like, it's ironic that we've ended up signing with Decca, who are like a like lovely team and like are really on board, but like we've been in the industry in our own ways for like the best part of 10 years, and have seen like the evolution of the industry and like streaming and TikTok like becoming more and more prevalent. And I think us going to Middle Farm as like a holiday as friends was purely like a holiday from music, because it is so cynical and horrible as a landscape, truly. So like, no, we didn't think about TikTok, and I still don't want to think about it. Like, I know, you know, it is necessary, and people consume music really differently nowadays, but I think the whole conception of this project is very counterculture, and hopefully people get that, and they see that we're putting out a song that's 5.5 minutes and think, that's cool. People aren't doing that anymore, you know. I
think what's really nice about the tone of it all as well is that it's like, it is very like theatrical and playful and loud and maximalist, I guess. I think I personally like really miss that in music, you know. I really miss the days of like, I don't know, like Queen, and there's this band called Jellyfish I love from the 90s, and there's just I don't know, like an uncompromised sense of like theatre and like grandeur to it that I love. Like The Last Dinner Party like do it so well that they're incredible.
So now the big question, you've got the tour later this year. Beyond that, what is the future of Fizz? Is this a one-time thing? Do you want to get back in the studio?
We've already been back in the studio.
Yeah, we can't help ourselves, truly.
Yeah, I think the writing is like, it's too easy. It's too easy.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's refreshing, honestly. I feel like it's still such a joy that the ideas are like, and the want to work together is like still pouring out of us, even though the album's, you know, the first album's just due to come out. So yeah, really excited. I'm gassed to like go back in the studio and just see what we make. It'll be interesting to know how the songs changed now that the project is out and people have heard the songs, and I'm wondering if what they expect from us will filter into how we write the music, which will be really interesting.
I really hope not. I hope we can keep the same feeling that we had. I think we've managed it so far with the little bits that we've been doing, clearly, our silly songs. I think we'll be able to just like put all that on a shelf and just once again come at it with just like fun and pure vibes.
Okay, I've got 2 questions left. Firstly, what is the secret to life?
The secret to life. I think the secret to life is gratitude in the little things. And I've been saying that so much recently, but not taking my own advice. So I really should
Nice.
think about that more. But yeah.
For me, finding your people. just finding your little weird family, like you guys.
I think the secret to life is bubble tea.
What? Don't steal that from me.
It is though. Milk tea with tapioca balls. Just straight up vibes. Do you want me to say something else so you can say bubble tea?
You stole my personality.
Okay, let me say something else.
Go on, say hope. Say hope again.
Hope is a song.
Hope is a song.
No, my secret to life is just like, just chill out, man. It's not that deep. Life's just a laugh, isn't it? We're all gonna die.
Yes.
You heard it here first. And finally, I love a cheesy question. How do you want people to feel when they hear this album?
Oh, great question. I want people to be like, what? That's what I want. Confused.
I want people to like rise to it, you know. I want it to give people permission to just be really loud and unapologetic about screaming and moshing and whatever it is, crying, like just to go there fully as encouraged by us and our yelling.
I'm definitely like expecting hate. But in like a way that I think is like...
Bring it on.
Martin always, we've had so many interviews recently and Martin's been like, I think our album shit. I think people are going to hate it. And I'm like, Martin.
No, but you know what? Like, I think for all of the positives of it, like, it's so amazing and we're like so, like, the biggest versions of ourselves and like really colourful and uncompromising. And I think there are a lot of people that don't like that. They don't like seeing people really like allow that for themselves. Yeah, I think I'm especially talking from like a man's perspective as well here. Like I think there's a lot of men that don't allow themselves to be like really expressive and free and fluid and colourful. Yeah, I just want to say you're all welcome. It's fun.
Perfect place to end. Fizz, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so
much.
much.